We are watching In the Fence of 7 out of 10. Okay, I also want to know what you guys' opinion on 7 out of 10. Do you think if somebody says the game is 7 out of 10, do you think the game sucks? Or do you think that's a good game? Yeah, right? It's a pretty good game. According to the internet, it sucks.
I just spent 60 hours playing a game that I don't think is actually very good. Ghost Recon Wildlands was pretty universally seen as a 7 out of 10 back when it came out in 2017 out of 10. The writing is among the worst of any game I have ever played. The voice acting comes across as like a middle schooler's idea of what they think sounds cool and awesome. The American interventionism power fantasy of hunting down a Bolivian drug cartel by blowing up tangos everywhere you go is problematic, to say the least. So why did I play this game so much? Because kids sometimes, at the end of the day, daddy doesn't always want the cautiously prepared.
That is so true. Sucky games, shitty games, sometimes are good. And this game, the way he described it, should not have been a 7 out of 10. It should have been a 5 out of 10. Because 5 out of 10 is mid.
Prepared 5-star Gordon Ramsay dinner, all right? Sometimes he wants Pizza Hut. It's critically mid comfort trash. It might not be good for your brain, but spin me right round and call me dead or alive. Extreme beach ball, holy shit. Maybe I do like sports, dad jumbo.
Okay.
Wumba, hubba, hubba. But many of these critically deemed 7 out of 10s are often capable of scratching a specific itch. An itch that those esteemed 10 out of 10 hold forward while your character shimmies through a tight crack games just can't quite scratch. The only thing they scratching is that tight crack on their ass. The best 7 out of 10s might not always
I feel like as a society, we give out too many 10 out of 10s. Nothing's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, exactly. We don't need 10 out of 10s in this life. We don't. There's not very few 10 out of 10s in the grand scheme of things. I feel like if we give things 10 out of 10s, there's no room for improvement. There's no room to go further outside of it. And you know what? As good as Red Dead Redemption 2 is, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
Fully stick the landing, but hey, at least it's trying out some cool new trick. Don't worry about the haters, brother, I gotcha. 7s walk so that 10s can steal their mechanics later and win a bunch of awards. That's why 6 scared of 7, not cause they not. Take the Just Cause series made by Avalanche Studios, you know, some real solid 7 out of 10 games. Do people like them cause they're polished? Are you blind? Are you here right now? Is he stand up or is he in your chair right now? People love the physics-based sandbox of chaos and explosions and creativity and gliders and scratches chin, ponders.
I also sometimes think we got so obsessed with giving games scores that we forgot, is the game fun? Is the game playable? Do we enjoy it even if it's a shitty game?
Like every game in the past 5 years, perchance it's gliders, my lord. Wildlands is borderline race car most of the time, so that's pretty rough. But if you ignore all that stuff, it's also a gorgeous, massive sandbox of opportunity that grants you so much freedom in how you want to pursue your objectives, and you can play it with your friends. And surprise, surprise, it's made by the undisputed king of the 7 out of 10 open world game, Ubisoft. Who the fuck you calling soft, brother? You're the soft one. Matter of fact, you be making me soft with that fugly ass ball of yours. Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry. We often give Ubisoftware a bunch of crap for what
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna listen to his take first. They
do, and yeah, honestly, we should. They do a lot of dumb shit. Ubisoft Connect can connect its foot to my ass. Wait, scratch that, reverse it. But the sheer amount of solid 7s and
it's true though.
that they consistently squat out that then go on to influence much better games is frankly astounding. Is the AI gonna be smart? Am I gonna be smart? I'll give you a hint. The answer is the same. Are the animations gonna be polished? Does a bear shit in a Ubisoft outpost? No. Well, sometimes they do. There are bears in Far Cry. Scratch that. Reverse it. Is your companion gonna ask you to take the vehicle off of sweet jumps even when it's a helicopter? I don't know. Let's ask one of our genius tango operators over here.
This ride ain't all bad.
Shit, give me a beer and I'll pretend we're back home off the coast of Myrtle Beach.
Still think you're 22 or something?
Nah, I'm just looking to hook up with 22-year-olds.
What are you
sure.
What is he saying?
Oh, say the line about the fucking jumps, you creep. But now let's compare a Ubisoft open world to a 10 out of 10 open world like GTA 5. Can you tackle objectives however you want? I'll give you a hint. The answer is no. But is it way more detailed and polished and generally functional? Yes. And it's also way more accessible to a mass audience because, like many other prestige 10 out of 10 games, It practically plays itself. And people go, whoa, this is just like a movie. I get to hold forward and lock on.
That's an interesting take. That is an interesting take.
On dudes, this definitely isn't just ripping off Michael Mann's Heat 10 out of 10. Obviously, Ubisoft's quality standard is vastly inferior. That's not my point. Most people are gonna enjoy GTA 5 as a product way more, and justifiably so. But I guess my dumbass point is that a critic score does not always tell the full story of exactly what an experience entails and what
I agree with that. And that's why I think you should not care about what critics say. You should play the game for yourself and form your own opinions unless the game does not interest you.
might appeal to you. And also in Heat, Al Pacino says, great ass! In summary, NakeyJakey's in defense of the 7 out of 10 games has a couple interesting points that are sadly buried underneath a wealth of poop and fart jokes. A 7 out of 10. Hi, I'm Jakey. And Jakey. Thanks to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. My attention span is fucked. I need multiple screens.
His Opera GX video ads are so funny.
In front of my eyes at all times so I can keep the darkness away. But anytime my current browser is open during my gaming time, my gaming performance is awful, but not with Opera GX. GX Control lets you limit the amount of CPU or RAM that your browser gets to use during your gamer time. Just look at how much nicer Opera GX is to your CPU and RAM versus the other guy.
I've never had issues with Chrome. I always have it open. Like right now I have Chrome and Opera GX open and I'm doing fine.
I hate when my browser is boring and looks like this. Opera GX has the GX store, which has GX mods. There's so many wacky kooky mods, including the
Ayo, did you see? There was a Josh Hutcherson one.
official NakeyJakey one that has its own background music, keyboard sounds, opening and closing of tab sounds, theme and colors of the browser, dedicated wallpaper. You can also disable and enable individual mods on the mod menu located on the sidebar. Opera GX also has a quick import tool that lets you quickly import all of your stuff from your previous browser, like browsing history, bookmarks, and cookies on over to Opera GX. It's also compatible with every Google Chrome extension, much like my ex-wife is apparently compatible with everyone except me. Use my special link down below to download Opera GX today. In summary, this transition back to the main part of the video was pretty smooth, but ultimately plagued by my untimely divorce. A heartbreak out of 10. Take Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Most critics reviewed this game lower than the first one with a lot of 7 out of 10s. But ask anyone who's played both games and they'll likely tell you how much better of a game Shadow of War is. This Metacritic score may as well be ancient hieroglyphics to them.
I think also people naturally score a sequel worse than the first. I think people have a disposition to dislike, for seconds, sequels. It's like how Shrek 2 is definitively the better Shrek, but I guarantee Shrek 1 has a better Rotten Tomato score than Shrek 2.
And they are not Tomb Raider, Crody. They cannot read that. The Nemesis system is vastly superior in Shadow of War, which I think alone makes it a much more worthwhile experience to spend your limited precious gamer hours on before you inevitably die. But also, take this all with the fattest grain of salt, because this is all coming from a guy that typically does not give a shit about most video game stories. And the reason for that, I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. Haha, LOL, remember that one? In my personal experience, I think a lot of especially AAA video game stories are some pretty droll, uninspired garbage featuring like the most insipid millennial-ass writing ever. And I do not hesitate to skip a cutscene. And if I don't even have the option to skip a cutscene, that's an immediate C sanitary rating for come on. Which is an interesting thing when it comes to reviews, right? One critic is gonna place way more importance and weight
I don't disagree.
on certain qualities versus another critic, story being a huge point of contention for many. So Shadow of War gets a lot of lower scores than Shadow of Mordor because of a shitty story and bloated size. Yeah, I don't give a shit about that stuff because it's not why I'm here. I'm here to kill funny.
I do understand where he's coming from. Some people play games for stories, while other people play games for games. I like games for games. Sometimes if there's too much story in it, I check out. NakeyJakey must have ADHD.
Orcs. I'm not here to 100% every game I play. Get a job. Not to grind your gears. This actually sort of is my job. Obviously, in a perfect world, you should get great gameplay and story, but if you realistically don't expect a Tarantino-level screenplay every time you boot up your Xbox 5, suddenly, a lot of those 7s are actually starting to look like 8ers or 9ers. Hey, yo, 9er, we got 319.
See, his hot take is that 7s actually are 8s or 9s if you look at it more subjectively. But me, I actually think those 10s are not 10s. I think the opposite. We need to move those 10s down to an 8 so that we bring the gap closer that way, not the other way. Not the other way. Let's not lift games up. Let's push games down.
Dying Light is such a fun and unique blend of fluid movement and zombie combat, and
Besides like that one game that you love that's a 10 out of 10. Besides that one game that you're just like, oh, it's so good, I would marry it. It's 10 out of 10. Have you guys seen what's 10 out of 10 recently? Can we go to Metacritic? The highest score right now is Baldur's Gate 3. It's 99%, followed by Disco Elysium and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. What? Not saying that these are not good games. Not saying that these are not good games. But do they have to be so damn high? I think 70 to 90 is considered a good game. I don't think we need to be at 99. Nothing's a 99, not even Baldur's Gate.
Oh, hey, mommy.
Ayo? Ayo? Who was that? BioShock Infinite? No. Maybe an 80, not a 94. BioShock Infinite was shitty compared to all the other BioShocks. It's not a bad game, but it's not good in comparison to the previous games. Like, I enjoyed it. I played the whole game. Super Smash Bro is 93%. I'm just outraged by this now. Overwatch is 90. I can give you reasons why I don't think these games deserve to be that high. And I know that my opinions are my opinion. We're rating the score too high. Not that they're bad games, but that our perception of what a good score is wrong. I think 70% is a good score. 80% is a great score, and 90% is almost an unachievable score. Nothing should be 90%. Too many people associate a 7 out of 10 with being a bad game, you know? Okay, now we're in the 70s. Why is Boruto game in the 70s? Because society thinks 70% is bad. This should be a 65. This should be a 65. Look at these games. These games in the 70s are definitively boring. Wait, Little Nightmares? Little Nightmares only got a 79%? And this is why scores don't matter. Make your own opinions. And I have lost the energy to continue my rant. Let's watch the video.
absolutely nails both of those core features. It just feels really good to play. But check the critical reviews and it's a lot of 7s, pointing out a shitty story, which it is, with shitty characters, which they are, and repetitive story objectives lacking real player motivation, which they do if it's good, your main reason for playing the game is the riveting story. If you're here to kill zombies and be terrified while running around nighttime with your friends, the only objective you need is an icon on the map saying, come get y'all juice. Okay, but now look at Dying Light 2, which also...
I feel like it's not the 10 out of 10s or the 7 out of 10s that have inflated scores. I think the real problem is the low end of the scale. Nothing gets less than a 5. I think it's all askewed. I think the whole scale is askewed. It's like good games are only considered good games if they make 88 or above, and bad games are only are considered anything below that. You know what I mean? There's no mid tier. There's no mid games, and there is mid games. There's games that are mid that maybe they suck in the story, maybe they suck in the characters, but the gameplay's fun, you know? And maybe there's the opposite. There's games like Fallout 3 where the story's good or interesting and intriguing, the world's interesting and intriguing, but the combat is lackluster and boring, you know? And so because we see anything below an 8 as shit, we end up with games that get like a 7 out of 10. And most people are like, well, I'm not gonna touch that. It's only a 7 out of 10.
Received a lot of 7s. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of the same reasons as the first game. But for me, 2 was a disappointment for different reasons. The satisfying ragdolls from the first game were just fully absent, and it just didn't feel as good to kill zombies in this game, which, along with doing cool jumps, I do so very much love a cool jump,
cool job.
That's why I'm here. I'm not here to find out what happens to generic 20-something male game protagonist who mysteriously sounds like every other f***ing 20-something male game protagonist in every game ever. I love skateboarding, and I also love games that have a high skill ceiling and take some time to master, you know, like Super Smash Bros. Melee or Big Buck Hunter Arcade Nude Mod texture pack. So you take a skate simulator like Skater XL or Session, both games that reviewed very poorly. I mean, I'm talking more like 5 or 6 out of 10 because of the price, the bugs, the difficulty.
Is there any game that has a score below 5?
The lack of a true single-player campaign, all totally valid reasons. But at the same time, I have played them this much, and I have deduced that Session is actually the much better game. One man's trash is another man's virtual tech deck that I can play for hours and hours on end, giving myself my own objectives and challenges, much like a baby that just...
See, what's interesting though is if we allowed 1s, 2s, and 3s and 4s, and we brought down those 10s to a more reasonable 9s and 8s, then a 5 would be like the perfect score for this game. It's mid, but hey, you might like it.
took your phone and found the settings app. At the end of the day, what even is a review score but an arbitrary number that some person online just chose and said,
Yes!
yeah, I know that's right. Why is it so deeply rooted in our caveman brains to assign
Yes!
rankings to everything and pit everything against each other
Yes!
with tier lists and top 10 lists? Restaurants, movies, video games, people. Are you a 7 out of 10? Am I a 7 out of 10? This video title isn't even an
Am I a 7 out of 10?
original thought. This person wrote about the exact same concept before I did, and this person wrote about it before they did. Are we all just doing and saying the same things? Does any of this even matter? Are we purely defined by the numbers that assess us? This video gets less views. This video gets more views. YouTube won't let me forget the numbers, Mason. Nothing is real, Mason. What's the point of anything if it's all actually mid? Maybe we should all just play Wildlands in this bar. Yeah, that sounds good. But maybe the magic was lurking in the mid all along. Is the beauty of our daily lives actually sourced in the mundane moments we deem to be seemingly unexceptional? Maybe the truly exceptional moments are the ones special and individually unique to us. The things that we like, even if this one chronically online yoga ball gamer said it made them want to Ubisoft connect their foot to ass. Maybe everything was a 7 all along. I'd be okay with that. A 7 feels most accurate when reviewing our collective experience on this blue orb. It's mostly good, with a little bit of trash sprinkled on top for good measure. A 7 out of 10. And I'm okay with that. Thank you for watching my video.
Oh my god, that went deep. That went deep. That went hard. That went shocking.
Brought to you by Ball Creative. First merch drop pre-orders should be shipping out around now, this video, at the time of this video going up, so expect that. Comment your favorite 7 out of 10s. Oh my god, he's gonna do it again. Is he here right now? Is he stand up or is he in your chair right now? Comment below, rate, subscribe, f that bell up, just
Do all the things. I'll do all the magical things. Like, comment, subscribe. That hit there. That hit there at the end.
Cami's rating is beyond numbers. She's the one who nurtured me, her mischievous raven familiar. Numbers can capture a bond. She's a perfect 10 in my book.